Good evening, and welcome to my Saturday evening live with me, Paul Addict Mentor. And this evening, I've got a good few things to talk about. First of all, let's get through the usual. Who am I? What am I doing on your phone, on your TV, on wherever you're watching me right now, on your something with a screen on it, I hope. My name's Paul Simmons. I spent 27 years as an active heroin and crack cocaine addict. I spent time homeless on the streets. I spent time begging. I spent time in night shelters, homeless hostels, sleeping on street park benches, literally park benches. I spent a lot of time sleeping in car parks. And that was all because of the amount of time I spent in active addiction. I'm now lucky to be 3 years, 10 months clean, sober, non active in my addictions and living my best life. However, that hasn't always been the case. And I'm very fortunate these days to be in a situation where I am able to go around and do talks and motivate people into living a better and cleaner and healthier life. Yesterday, for example, I was down in Bristol, down at the Lockleys Sports Centre. Big shout out to everyone at the Lockleys Sports Centre. Thanks for having me yesterday. And I was able to talk about the dangers of knife crime. But whilst I was talking about the dangers of knife crime, yes, Leon, um, it got me talking about my drug addiction and the behaviors that I used to display. And today I've been rolling through my social media. I'm waiting for a very special number to happen on my socials. It's going to happen very, very soon in the next few hours. I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to make a big song and dance about it when it happens. I will let you know what it is. Um, and I was strolling through my social media, and I'm seeing more and more and more addicts coming onto my page, onto my FYP, and I'm getting to see a lot of things. So tonight, I want to talk about my addiction, what I was like in active addiction. What was Paul like? Well, Paul didn't exist. I went by Simo. I was Simo. I was a guy. I was mean. I got what I want, I took what I want, and I behaved in some of the most crazy, bizarre ways that I can really imagine or you could ever imagine. And I'll explain what I'm on about. So I had a huge crack cocaine problem for decades. It was something it used to get me. I used to smoke it, used to make me feel horrible. I didn't enjoy the feeling it gave me. It made me feel on edge, anxious, very, very paranoid, and extremely violent. And extremely violent is a very important thing. So, yesterday, a friend of mine reminded me of something, and it's a she because my friend Lisa from Bradford on Avon, and she said, "Paul, do you remember this event?" Now, these sort of events happen to me a lot because, like I said, I was completely crazy and I had a very skewed vision of the world and I had a very viewed version of the way I felt I was being treated and the way I should have been treated. I felt so. Me and Lisa, we had a falling out over some money. I needed to borrow some money to get some drugs. And I think Lisa may have said yes or no. Might have said yes, then maybe she couldn't give it me or whatever. And we'd had a bit of a fucking Barney, a bit of a moment. And a normal person under that circumstance would have gone, all right, Lisa, fair play. I've known you most of my existence. We move on and I'll go down another avenue. I didn't do that. I then proceeded to go home, get a Stanley knife, lock knife, and then go storming round to one of my friends' houses to demand that they give me money because they've taken a piss out of me and I was the man. This is the behavior that this guy who now goes around and gives talks and mentors others. This is what crack used to do to me. Another thing crack cocaine used to do to me was this. I used to be the most paranoid person you're ever going to come across. It was absolutely crazy. When I say paranoia, it was paranoia on another level. I used to do something called rock climbing. That's what I used to call it. Some people know it as white dotting. Some people just see it as an idiosyncrasy that comes with smoking crack. So, what white dotting is this? Crack is white, it's dot, it comes in little crack, literally little rocks, but it gets powdery, and then you might drop a piece, or you think you've dropped a piece, but you're right, you've got a bit about you, so you're all right, but you're smoking it. But the more you're smoking, you're going back to that one little piece that pinged off. Not worth smoking, not worth anything, but it's in your mind. It's in your mind. And crack, trust me when I tell you this, crack cocaine will always win when it comes to control or having control. It has control over you and what you do and what you think and what you feel. And I know because I didn't used to just smoke it, I injected it for a long time as well. So I used to do this thing called white dotting. So I'll be smoking now. I've smoked all my shit and I'm feeling horrible. I'm feeling stressed. I just want that one more hit. I just want one more hit. I don't want to scrape the pipe out yet because I've only smoked 20 stone through it. So that's not going to help me. But I'll end up scraping that as well. But I'll end up looking all over the floor for this one little minute crumb that pinged off. I got so bad at doing this, and this is the truth. I got so bad at doing this, I actually ripped a radiator clean off the wall trying to find something that I'd never even dropped. Looking for white dots, I've smoked bits of fluff, I've smoked bits of human skin, bits of bread, crumbs that have dropped on the floor. It's absolutely vile what that drug makes you do. But these are the behaviors that comes with smoking such a vile drug. I see people every day still who are using around me, and I see the way they walk down the street. They're always looking down on the floor. This is one of the things you will find about addicts, and something you will recognize. The more and more you see it, the more I tell you about it, it will start becoming first nature. You'll just know what these people are up to. They don't walk up, they keep your head down because you're always looking on the floor. You're looking for a bit of clingy, something that someone's dropped. And that was a thing all the fucking time. My brain was always on, oh, what can I find? And don't get me wrong, I found loads of things living like that, but I missed my entire existence. I missed my life because when I was looking down, I was missing what was straight in front of me. That brick wall, that was prison. And I spent 22 years in prison. So I can sit here and tell you now, drugs and prisons don't mix. Hence my next crack story. Because I'm an idiot. And I'm an even bigger idiot when I was in active addiction and I was smoking crack cocaine and smoking heroin and injecting heroin and injecting crack and then doing snowballs and then doing whatever I could, yeah? So when you get in jail, you get clean, you get healthy, you get nice, you get fresh. And then what happens? Certain drugs drop into the jail. Mostly, this is what it is, it has been through existence. It was always crack heroin. Well, it was always pot And then drug tests came in, and heroin became quite fashionable, unfortunately. And drugs tests came in, and crack and heroin came in a massive way, because these are drugs that leave your bloodstream, your piss, within 3 to 5 days. Unlike cannabis in prison, you're running the risk of a whole month. Smoke a spliff, run the risk of a whole month of getting drug tested and losing days. Smoke heroin and gear in jail, you got a 3 to 5 day chance. So and that was the problem. And more and more and more people became using class A's in jail because of the drug tests. Now there are many people in the prison system who will deny it, and they will say, "No, Paul, you're chatting complete and utter rubbish. That's just the old adage." But it's true. I'm not saying everyone in jail did heroin and crack because of the drugs test, but I am saying there is a hell of a man out there in the community right now who have definitely only got drug habits because of the piss test that came into prison. And whilst I was in jail, I come across crack on a few occasions because I was always smart enough not to smoke it in jail. Because you smoke crack in jail, you got to put up with a paranoia times 10. But on a couple of occasions, I've been stupid enough to smoke it. And one occasion, someone give me some up. They owed me a debt. Good evening, Paula. How are you? Yeah, someone owed me something. Evening, Peter. And I ended up getting paid in crack. And I sat in my cell, and there I was making up the pipe. Do you know what I mean? Doing all that old behaviors bullshit that I knew better than to do, but I'm there. And I'm sat in B Wing, Bristol, right? Now, this is very important that I say B Wing in Bristol because it's an active wing at night. What do I mean? People, because there are no toilets in the cell in B Wing in Bristol prison, you've got a nighttime sanitation system. So, which means you press a little button, you go in a queue. You wait for other people. Other people are in that queue. Once your name comes up, the little light goes green, your door unclicks. You got a certain amount of time to wander about and do what you do. However, I've made this pipe and I've smoked this crack now. But, I'd been clean, most probably in jail from crack for a few years, I would have thought at this point. Because, like I said, it's not something that came into the system a lot. Gear, I maintain gear habits constantly throughout the system. Spice habits, well, Jesus Christ, spice habits, you just maintain that because, it's so prevalent in the prisons. So I've smoked this now. And the madness is telling me you're going to enjoy it, you're going to enjoy it. But every time I smoked crack, I hated it. I hated the feeling. I don't know why I smoked it. This is what I did. I smoked crack, and then I hated it so much, I had to do heroin to bring me back down. And that was my drug journey. Now, anyone who's done crack and heroin, they will there's many people who will recognize this stupid bloody phenomenon. But I smoked a big fat, I think I had like 2 pipes in my cell in the jail. And then I spent the next 8 hours stripping my cell looking for something that I clearly did not fucking drop. Oh my brother. Yes, how you doing, Luis Carlos Claire Bandit? How you doing, my guy? Evening, Simon. So I'm paranoid, I'm feeling horrible, and I'm locked in my cell. But because I'm so fucking paranoid and I've smoked this horrible stuff in my cell, I'm like that at the gap of the door, constantly. Anyone that walked past, anything that happened, and I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting angry. And I never understood why I smoked that shit in prison. But I tell you, because I never had my addiction on lock, I'd do it and I'd lapse and I'd lapse again, and I'd lapse again, and lapse and lapse and lapse until I got to where I am today. Oi, oi, Leah, how you doing, mate? Good evening. Brenda Westerman. Oi, oi, Lee. Lee, good evening. Evening all. I'm a bit confused there, I gotta say. Yeah, I'm slightly confused. I don't think my name is Lee. Brenda, I'm pretty sure. I just gotta make sure. It's above my head. Yeah. So now that's my crack journey, right? So I'm telling you, my behaviors were erratic, real erratic behaviors. I've caused people serious physical harm due to trying to obtain drugs. Um, I've caused people physical injuries, i.e., stabbings through robbing other drug dealers. And for me, when I was being Simo, it was just par for the cause. It was part of the madness. It was the reason I would get up in the morning. I'd be just like, right, I'm going on a graft, and whoever gets in my way, I don't care. And typo, apologies, thank you. There we go. Um, yeah, so it was real bad times for me when I was in active addiction because I was so erratic, and prison, those 22 years in prison, and now I am going to be honest as I can about this. I served 22 years in prison in total, not in one stretch, in about 6 different stretches, yeah. So I served 22 years. But those 22 years, they were hard, they were lonely, you know. I can count on my hands how many visits I've had in those 22 years, right? I've not had more than 10 prison visits. I've not had more than 10 prison visits in 22 years. So imagine that for a minute, right? 22 years, and then you get 10 1 or 2 hour visits in that time. That was what I was doing, right? But what it did is saved my life. Now, I don't think prison works as a deterrent. It doesn't really work. It didn't deter me from anything. They made you the man you are today, my brother. Strong. Thank you, my guy. I love that. So it saved my life. And I'm so thankful that now I'm able to come out here and I'm able to talk and be really open and honest. And the reason I wanted to come on tonight and talk about my erratic behavior and the things that I used to do when I was in active addiction, I want you lot to now share my story with people. Download it onto your phones, take it into your work, college, whatever, and go, listen, there's this guy who's giving free information to the world and to anyone who will listen. That's what I ask you lot to do for me, because we're having a lot of dramas on some of the apps. They're not being fair. Certain things are supposed to happen when you get so many views, and it's not happening. And I don't want to go into it. I don't want a big blah blah loads of people getting on the nega train, because do you know what? I don't want people, when I say something, what I don't want is everyone going, yeah, look at the negative stuff of that. Look at that negative. What a plonker I am. Well, how did your talk go? Watch the bit. It was amazing. Yeah, Brenda, it went really, really well. I've been sharing bits of it all day, trying to like get people interested, because I definitely want to do more of the talks. Bristol Rovers Community Trust have been amazing. They are now linking me with other football clubs, so I'm going to be traveling about doing more of those talks. But I want to do more local to where I am. My kids live in Swindon. My kids are growing up in Swindon. Someone got shot in my estate just 2 days ago. So, if I can bring change to Swindon and to a few of the local kids and make them understand that they have so many more opportunities than many of us did when we were fucking growing up. And that is fact. I did not have the opportunities that there are today. Many of us did not have these opportunities. I didn't grow up. I was dragged up. I was beat up. And I'm still here. So for the kids who aren't going through that, what they then are faced with now is the county lines thing, the drug dealing thing, the gang thing, the knifing, the machete thing, the murder thing. That has to change. And I'm going to continue coming out here, giving my little talks, giving my little opinion pieces, podcasting. I'm off to Newcastle this week to do a podcast with Behind Bars TV. I'm really looking forward. Can't wait to meet Ricky in the flesh. And I'm just going to keep doing what I feel is the right thing to do and keep spreading the message that addicts, for one, do recover and they do go on to live their best lives if they want it enough. Two, doesn't matter what your mental health situation is. Don't forget, I have borderline personality disorder and it's all over the place this last week or two. I've got post-traumatic stress disorder from multiple traumatic events that have happened in my life. And I suffer from mad social anxiety disorder. But that doesn't then limit what I do. I have to make sure that I put all of my eggs in a row properly, all my ducks in a row, shall I say. And I make sure that everything that I do, I know that I'm doing, it's planned. Like I'm going to Newcastle. Now I can tell you, I'm actually going to Durham. Now I can tell you already, this is happening this week. I am catching a train. I'm landing in Bristol about 6 o'clock. I am then getting picked up and taken somewhere. I am then getting driven in the morning to the airport where they're going to help me get through the airport. And then I fly and then I get to Newcastle and there's going to be someone waiting for me at the other end and vice versa. And that's what I have to do. I have to make sure all of these things are sorted so I'm then able to go out there and implement change and share my story. If you've not watched my bloody Sean Atwood podcast yet on the Sean Atwood YouTube channel and on my own YouTube channel, by the way, please catch it, listen to it, watch it. I promise you, you will learn something that you did not know when you listen to my stuff. Even if you are the oldest of old school con, you'll go, bloody hell, didn't know that. Didn't know you'd done that, Paul. Didn't know your life was that fucked up. Trust me, it was. But we do recover. We do go on to live our best lives. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. I just want to say thank you to everyone who watches. If you're watching this now, if you're watching this later on, I really, really appreciate it. BDP, complex post-traumatic stress disorder here too. I live in a small village and the kids are up to no good, but not in bad. Kids smashing windows, kicking doors in. But if you chat to them, they're just bored, mate, and have mental health going on as well. Respect what you're doing. Oh, Brenda, thank you so much. And yeah, there needs to be change in our communities. Our kids need somewhere to go. They need somewhere to go party. They need to go be able to do something constructively with their time. Do you know what I mean? Going around on their bikes and getting into trouble's no good. Let's get them to a skate park. Let's get them to do some courses. Let's get them to mix some music. How many aspiring rappers have we got out here now? That's what I want to do. And that's about making a community center via the non active approach pool addict mentor. And it will come because I've been promised if Labour get in, I have been promised free space by the Swindon Labour Council. They promised me, and I won't let them forget it. They promised me. See that? Swindon Labour Council promised me if they get voted in. They promised me. And I won't forget Jim Robinson. I won't forget Heidi Alexander. I won't forget because it's really important to me that our kids have a better opportunity in the future. Anyway, that is me podcast for this evening. Have a fantastic night. It's Saturday. Don't get into trouble. If you are in recovery, just remember, man, addiction is a wily old fox. And it may go, right, this guy's got his crack and heroin addiction sorted out. But maybe we can get him another way. And I've been seeing a lot of that at the moment. A lot of people in recovery are failing by the wayside because they are out partying and again steaming every bloody week, every few days. Lots of us doing it. Not me, but lots of us because I am a part of you recovery and non-active addiction. Peace, love, and unity to you beautiful people. And I will be live on TikTok tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Peace and love.